there's probably gonna be another 10, 20, 30, or 40 people that could wander in here.
There's one coming down the hall.
We basically told them, you know, please stop by, congratulate Mike, we'll get some police out. So,
Very nice, thank you all.
again, if people come and go, we'll just keep it real informal and stuff. I'm sure people maybe can pop in and share some stories with us, which, sorry, Mike, something to be
Some
good.
lies.
But to get things started, I want to ask our director, acting director, to
Yeah.
go ahead and just say a few words. And
Oh,
kick
thank
this thing
you.
off. I appreciate it.
So I am, as you know, Mike knows, I'm acting director. Kirk is at Fort Liberty. We used to be Fort Bragg, but Kirk sends his best and wants to send his congratulations on your retirement. And-
He shot me an email.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
okay, all right, good. I'm glad. So, and I just want to say, I want to thank you for your service, for many years of service. I think
Thank you.
About 40 years of
Roughly.
service, federal service.
Yes.
Roughly, you know, between,
Yeah.
you were Navy.
I was in the Navy for
Army?
4 years, I was in the Army for 17 and a half,
Yeah.
I was for the Sheriff's Department for 7, and I was with Civil Service for
Were
12.
you a deputy with the sheriff's office?
I was a deputy sheriff.
He can break into any.
carry
Made it all the way up to working for the courts.
You had a badge?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have did it give you a bullet? Keep in your pocket?
Okay, so that,
I'd have
I appreciate that.
They
Mike.
trusted me with a few bullets.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
appreciate that, Mike, because that putting the puzzle together, because there was some things I saw, you know, I haven't known you for that long, but there's things, where is he getting that from? Sheriff, I got it now, it makes sense, you know, bringing it all back together, because, you know, you've always been someone who is, you know, has the utmost integrity and enforced accountability, and you made sure that, you know, our property was looked after, and we had everything we needed to do our mission. You know, vehicles, or computers, or whatever it is, you stayed on top of it. I said, God, he's.
Y'all come on in, sit down.
Come on in, there's plenty of seats, there's 3 at the table, come
I
on.
was just amazed at, you know, how well you burdened all this, now I know why. Why we were doing this, so, I just appreciate, your service.
And he's
your
still
long
he's still smiling here
service
all
to your community and all. Absolutely. And, just, we're very happy about your retirement. Because I know
Thank you.
You're gonna make the most of the best of it.
I'm happy about it, too.
Yeah. So, I know we've got a certificate or something to present, and turn that back.
I've got a whole
over.
presentation.
Okay, Rob, you got it.
Actually, I don't, I did,
Yeah.
and you know how you get it all in your mind, how you're gonna say it, and then I tried to write it out, and I couldn't remember about half of it, but we're gonna go through it anyway. Cause this is a day to celebrate, right? And so I've been doing fantasy football, some of y'all know, I've probably been doing about 28 years, I'm a commissioner, and every year in the beginning I get up and I have the same spiel I go through, so I kinda have it kinda laid out, so bear with me, I made myself little notes, so I just kinda gonna follow the same process. I like to keep things somewhat informal, so please, if you guys think of something and wanna speak up, just speak up, okay? Good with you?
Good with me.
Yeah, all right. Again, I thank you for everybody that's coming. As I mentioned, this is, those of you that don't know, our organization at DPW, we got about 109 people on board. Some of them aren't in this building, so they wouldn't come. We've got guests, thank you, that came over from DPTMS. I wrote down their names. Candace, or I'm sorry, Glenda, right? Oh no, Glenda's not here. Tina
Glenda's not here.
and
Kim.
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 I didn't write Kim's name down.
Kim
But
and
they
Tina
came,
sang
those
that.
of you that don't know, they came from DBTMS, where Mike used to work, right? Mike's been here about 6 years with us, and with them, you were over there for what?
Since the start.
15 years, right?
He was here in 2009 when I got here.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
I don't remember
Were those
that well.
forgetful years, Mike? Is that what you're saying?
I'm sort of forgetful years.
Some things are better forgotten.
Right, but thank you all for coming, and let me introduce, if you guys don't know, this is Mike's wife, Linda, right?
This is my better half, y'all. Kim knows me well.
But never mind the mark on Mike's side. That was not Linda.
Yes, it was.
But also Candace, his daughter, and
That's my
Kansas
granddaughter.
agent, right?
Ah, Candace.
Thank you,
We
Lori.
know so much about
Tell her,
you.
Candace.
Yep, yep.
We heard a lot about Candace when she was in high school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, because again, it's a special day, and for you to be here with Mike and to join us, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. So, Linda and I talked a lot. We talked a lot during COVID at times. I know Mike was sick a couple times. So, yeah, strokes. It's just it's so funny. You talk sometimes you talk to people. Now it's texting, right? But I feel like I know her, but that's the first time we've met face to face. So thank you again for coming. Again, we're here to celebrate Mike's retirement, right? And I want to stress retirement. I'll say Mike's been smiling now for the better part of a month. And, you know, there's over the years that have been those of you that have worked, I don't know if just government service, but anywhere, and people retire. Sometimes it's not on their own terms, right? Health gets in the way. People have to retire, but I feel like Mike in this case, this is on his own terms, okay? And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We don't need to know, but he's sure been smiling like it is. And as a matter of fact, and I'm not sure, I know she's busy. Our admin officer Jennifer said this morning, and I'll try to paraphrase or quote her, and Mike can correct me if I'm wrong, but she's like, "Are you gonna?" He's like, "I'm gonna miss you," or Jennifer said, "I'm gonna miss you," and I was like, "Well, I'm not," because he's excited with it. But we knew what he meant, and she laughed. So again, but thank you all for attending. Again, Derek kind of went over his career. I'd like to take this opportunity. If you could elaborate a little bit more, I just would like to hear about your sheriff's job and then what you did at DPTMS. I would like any opportunity for any visitors to share any stories about Mike. I can honestly say it's been such a pleasure. Mike's been, if I would call a perfect employee, but when Mike joined the DPW 6 years ago, Mike stepped into the job that we brought him over to do. And then we changed his job, even though we said we weren't going to. And Mike never complained. Mike came in, did his job. I very rarely ever had Mike coming over to me and whining about anything. Maybe once. But honestly, I don't have a complaint about Mike, and it's been such an honor to have you working for us at DPW. And I'm excited for you and again, the next job that you're going to be doing. And fishing, Mike's an avid fisher. Maybe you can share with us a little bit too. What's next? What's on the horizon? So I'm going to open this up. If you can share a few things, and then we'll open up the audience for stories.
I'm going to Oklahoma and visit my folks. I'm going to do as much fishing as I want. I'm going to sleep as late as I want. I'm going to get all that out of my way. And I start getting on her nerves, I'll probably go look for a part-time job.
Hey, Mike, we noticed how you told her your agenda while you're in front of us, because if you did that at home, it might not went as well, right?
Linda, do you have anything to add to that? We did hear a story that you already asked Mike what is he planning to do. Because he can't be at the house.
Yeah, that was the first thing out of her mouth. What you gonna do now? Like, go to work, but then you can't stay at home with me.
Linda may be looking for a job.
I'll kill you or you'll kill me.
I have an unpaid one. Your children.
Maybe to fill some time.
Mike, I believe, I don't know this for a fact, but you're a pretty avid Christian. I go
Yes.
every morning. I don't know if you have things going on with the church or.
Well, I teach Sunday school. I have for many years.
And he helps quite the carpentry stuff as far as
Go ahead.
mission Mike goes on. Usually he takes his vacation time, I think, or he used to. He'll go and he will do the type type work.
8 days of hope.
For
What is it
his
called?
church.
8 days of
He
hope.
gets his
8
hammer.
days of hope.
Gets his
Okay.
hammer out and does the
Nice.
construction for older people in need, people.
Well, basically what we did, what 8 Days of Hope does is anytime there's a tragedy or a major distract of weather such as flooding, hurricanes, tornadoes,
You're
and
going
so
to North
forth,
Carolina then.
we go to those areas and our labor is free, and if they can't afford the material to buy it, the 8 Days of Hope buys it. And then we basically put their house back together, so to speak.
He's the modern day Habitat for Humanity.
Yes. No,
That's a good way of putting it. It's got to be where now, me and John, which is my running buddy, we don't do that anymore because we got too old. We can't climb up on no doggone house and put a roof on somebody's house, which is what a lot of people want. Is they want a new roof. You tote them shingles once or twice, you'll find out what I'm talking about. You get on your knees on top of that roof and you'll understand what I'm talking about, especially if you got any age on you. So it makes a difference. So we can't do what we used to do.
So gutters and below.
You don't need very many ladders.
And to answer your question, I put 4 years in the Navy.
Yeah. What did you do in the Navy?
I was an aircraft director. You see that guy in the yellow shirt that does one of these numbers and goes down like that, the jet
Oh, you
shoots
were-
off?
Yeah, that was.
That's what I did. Okay. And then I was in damage control.
Were you in the Navy first?
Yes.
What made you switch to the Army?
My first marriage broke up because I went to sea for 9 months and I come back and she was 6 months pregnant, wanted a divorce.
Well, no, but I guess.
He said, "You
Well, what made you go to the Army?
The army stays somewhere for somewhat of a period of
I
time.
got
What you asked.
Dry
That's
and
fine.
dry land too. Okay. And my first duty station was Fort Benning at that time, now Fort Moore. And Linda's is from here. This is where I'm at, Linda. This was my first station here at Fort Benning, so forth. So she followed me around everywhere I went, and then when we got ready to retire from the military, we retired here because it's her home.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So when I got out and when I retired from the military, I decided I wanted to go to work for civil service. The problem with civil service is they had a freeze at the time. You couldn't find no jobs. So I went to work for the Muskogee County Sheriff's Department. And it took me 7 years of working for them before jobs started to open up out here. So what I did is I did 7 years with them, which is vest. You vest after 5 years with the Sheriff's Department. So once you vest, that means when you get 65, you can draw a pension. So at 65, I started drawing a pension from them. And the way I work it is the same amount that I draw. If I die, she'll get it the same amount. Because I took a little less for that to work
Retire
out.
first before you start talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm telling you, you told me to give a rundown. I'm giving you that. So after that,
From beginning to end, I guess.
so then I worked for DES, Department of Emergency Services. I was in charge. I went out as a captain with the guards, and I had something like 20 odd guards and so forth. And then after 2 years or so, they started having problems. Next thing you know, they moved us, and I moved over to the DPTMS and went to work for them. I think did I work for Miss Oliver first, or did I work for Tim Price first?
Tim.
I think I worked for Tim Price first, and then I went from there to Miss Oliver, etc.
You didn't step on the grass on our property? Because the old sergeant major would get out there and, hey, you jackwagons, get off my grass?
Come on in.
Very much.
Tell the people to come on in. They can hear
There's
some of
one.
the, they can hear us celebrate some of the stories with us. Come on, guys. You don't have to. Stand. Great.
So that's pretty much. Then I'm with y'all, and of course you know what I've done with y'all. Now, there's probably been a bunch of people in here that doesn't like my disposition. I'll be the first to tell you I have a disposition. My wife will contest to that. She says I have no act. It is not in my vocabulary.
Can I say something? I haven't known him really long, but when I did learn of him, I just always found him aggressively helpful.
Just imagine being his child and you're
married and have a whole career and you're scared to tell them you're pregnant.
Oh! Wait, are you breaking the
No, no,
news?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, no. The first time, I was terrified and I was married with a career.
But anyway.
On that note,
Mike, some of
That-
us.
no,
Mike,
this is
my confessional.
I was somewhat impressed. But the thing about it is I will tell you this, every one of y'all knew where you stood with me.
yeah.
There was no doubt in your mind what I meant when I said something or did something. Everybody contested.
Some of us love you for that, Mike.
Absolutely.
And I'll never forget when I was in Germany, in the Army. I was like in E6, E7. And one of my lieutenants, we were working a night shift. And Linda came in. Oh, no, hush. And he was in there talking about me, and she was talking back to him. And she left. And I went back in, and he was standing there. He says, "You know what?" I says, "What?" He says, "I didn't realize it till just now. Your wife told me to go straight to hell."
Before I was saved, so.
But the thing about it is what Linda has a way of just basically telling people stuff, and she does it so politically correct, let's put it, that people don't realize that she's telling them to go to the devil. And me, you know, the opposite track, I'm very direct. You know, well, I told you to go to the devil. You don't have to think about it 10 minutes later, and it's like, he told me to go to hell. They know it, or you know it right up. So, if I've offended anybody, or I've gone on the wrong foot with you, my apologies, sincerely, and so forth.
Mike's so dedicated, he's still wearing his name tag. He's turned everything else in, but still wearing the name tag.
He came to work. He came to work.
He's still working this morning. Working with Stephen, right? What else? Who else has anything they'd like to share? Tina, you got a story?
I do. Well, are you gonna do presentation stuff? I just have something to give them.
We will.
Talk about it.
Do you want, is there any other stories, and then we can move to.
I would just say, Mike was working force modernization when I first came. When I retired from the military, I came in as force modernization, and he was doing that position for 9 months between the person that had did it previously. So Mike was standing in. Everything Mike touches, he always seems to make it better in some way, shape, or fashion. You know, some of the things that you had incorporated in the force mod area, I still use today. Yeah, he can bite. He can bite, but when you figure him out and you can go back with him, you know, you have a good understanding. And he's a big man, and he'll come back and say, "Okay, I'm sorry." But he was great to work with. You know, he's very tactful. I mean, he's very direct, but it's all for the good, because Mike always wants to make something good. He wants to, he never wants to make something, you know, where it doesn't work for everybody, you know. And if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense, and he's gonna let you know. And sometimes you just need to hear that it doesn't make sense. So, Mike, I enjoyed working with you for I think it was like 5-6 years or something like that. With you over at Force Modernization. Like, I love seeing you pop in every once in a while to come and visit or do some ISR stuff. Loved your cakes. I hated when he left and the cakes went with him.
You should have let me know.
And it was enjoyable seeing his granddaughters, you know, being raised up in his stories. So that's why when you said who you were, we were like, oh, because we heard so much about his family. So I'm glad health-wise everything turned around and is working for your good. I pray that it continues to work for your good so you can enjoy the time that you spent to get to where you are. So have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody, any others? Any others good stories? Okay, good. Yeah, I'd like, we got some few gifts we want to give.
I'll go ahead and-
Go ahead and go
I'll
first.
start off.
Absolutely.
All right. Mike. Bullseye, Jesse. So. You know it's Halloween.
Halloween. Okay, I'm with you.
So he's like, well,
I was wondering what happened to TPGMS and see what.
You ain't gonna remember what I thought she was gonna let me go down the hall with that.
I was afraid she was telling you to get on or something. I was like,
last time I probably had to stick up to witches, you know, did the witch thing. We do Halloween over there, usually me and Kim and a few others. That's all I have to say, but you gotta have fun, right? And I heard many Candace stories. This is all my Jackie stories and Mike's Candace stories, so we shared those. I had a 22-year-old now, so.
Her daughter goes to my church, went to my church.
So Mike, I got here in 2008, and Mike was part of the Force Protection Group. I came in, there was 8 of us, we went to about, I think when you left, we had 4. I'm still over there. But I appreciate Mike's ability, you say he's not very tactful, I appreciate your ability to cut through the crowd. As I say, you tell it like it is. So I appreciate that about you. I do something and I need you to pull it out because I need to read, because that's my notes, I wrote it to you. So this is for you. Mike is a very strong man of faith. He has helped me.
Walking with Jesus, David Jeremiah.
Yes.
Check out.
That's the truth. So I did my notes, basically.
Okay.
So you had me. I had an old friend that was Michael Patrick, and I call him Mikey D. That's my D. Okay, I said, congrats on your retirement. I said, may God bless you for the faithful servant you are. I admire all the ways. I'm gonna make you cry, not me, okay? I admire all the ways you have served as a military service member, a civil servant, as a soldier in God's army. I truly appreciate the faithful, godly man you are, and all the deep discussions we've had. Mike used to walk by my, he would walk by my office every day, because I was on the route to the bathroom and break room, so I know everybody's habits, unfortunately. Well, Mike would always walk through, and I would say, and I knew Mike, he said when he was in the Navy, he started off, you taught Sunday school. I've been to Mike's Sunday school.
They call it a
class.
lay leader.
Okay, well, he's been that way since the start, or since he's been in the Navy, so we would get into these discussions, and I said, I truly appreciate the faithful, godly man you are, and all the deep discussions we've had. So we had a discussion on Hades, Abraham's bosom, is Judas in heaven or hell? I mean, we got into some lengthy, I would say, Mike, what do you think about this? I'd be doing a Bible study, and he'd go back, he'd say, let me think on that. So Mike would go back to his desk, and a day or 2 later, he would come back and he would have his fact sheet, and we would thoroughly digest what we had talked about. And if he didn't know it, he dove deep into it. So if you ever ask him for something, he will research it for you. Creation versus burial. We had some deep discussions. And I said, okay, and then I said, I'll never forget your wisdom in mourning when I prayed for patience. This is what Mike told me. He said, be careful what you pray for. God will give you much to be patient for. I have remembered that every time I wanted discernment, pray for discernment. Oh, I better not. Mike told me I'll have something that, so those were your words of wisdom and warning for me. I do remember those.
Well, James basically said it. He basically said if you pray for patience, trials and tribulations you will have.
Yeah, and I did. So that's what the wisdom brought me. And I said, obviously Mike knows himself. He said, thanks for being a sheep. And I say that Mike is a fantastic follower as far as he follows God. And I recognize that him, as well as a shepherd at times. So you have shepherded as well as, you listen when I needed listening, you educated when I needed educated. And I said, please continue to pray for me as I can ask and know this is already done. You ask Mike to do something, he will do it to the finish. I'll I will miss you around work, my dear friend, but I will see you around town and hopefully on some future Friday fajita festival. I love you, Mike.
Thank you.
I thought you said something else.
Did you wanna do that, get that out? So, we got something, but not for Mike, we got it for Linda, because we know she's had to deal with it. Yeah. Just wanted you, we just got to the flowers and a little gift.
And some peace.
Is it a smelly good candle?
Yes.
Okay.
As a person whose husband is retired, bless you.
Thank you all so much.
I know. First couple months, gonna be all right.
Thank you.
Just text me and I'll tell you where to send them. Something, yeah, so these are, you can open these later. These are cards that, everybody in this room and probably, around this entire floor are signed. So just take those with you. Give cards in them, not a lot.
Thank you,
Wanted to
guys.
show our appreciation. So, and then, this is the formal part that I get to read. Again, I'll be honest, I'm a little melancholy about leaving Mike, but this is a celebration. But we gotta do the formality thing. This is a certificate of retirement awarded to Michael D. Hill in recognition of 40 years of service to our nation from May 1984 to October 2024, comprised of 21 years of active duty in the United States Army and Navy and 19 years of civil service. During Mr. Hill's 6-year tenure as a general supply specialist for the Business Operations and Integration Division, Director of Public Works, Fort Moore, he consistently performed his duties in an exemplary manner, demonstrating a high level of professionalism and teamwork. His expertise, dedication to the mission, and his many contributions to Fort Moore are in keeping with the highest traditions of government service. Mr. Hill's outstanding performance reflects distinct credit upon him, the Directorate, the United States Army Garrison Fort Moore, the Installation Management Command, the Maneuver Center of Excellence, and the United States Army. Sign it, Frederick Wolf. And with this, Mike collects coins, and he wanted a 2-star coin, and we finally got for him.
All right.
And the general would have liked to give it to you, but he retired. The general left.
Just read. Yeah.
Let me share a quick story with this 2-star. So Mike, when he had his 40 years of service, if you all know, they do the big ceremony over in Building 4, right? In the big auditorium. And there was a number of people up there, and the general couldn't be there, so it was one of the commandants. I don't remember which commandant.
The armor.
The armor. So he goes down, and when you're in the audience, you really can't hear, but they're going down and they're shaking hands and giving him some sense. And when he gets to Mike, he's there, and you see Mike talking, he says something back, and you see the head doing like this, and I was like, and everyone else was quick. Mike was probably at least 30 seconds. It just seemed like a long time. He was with Mike. So afterwards, Mike comes down. I said, Mike, what was that all about? He said, Mike says, well, he gave me a certificate. I said, I really wanted a coin. And he says, well, you can come into my office. Next thing I know, Mike went to his office. He comes out with the coin and says, man, you got some set on you. So,
He did.
So,
He really did say that.
Congratulations.
1-star general.
So, again, thank you for coming. We have cake, drinks, we got some other snacks. Again, I'd like everyone to stay, grab a piece of cake, share more stories, thoughts. If you want to wish Mike farewell, or not to put Derek on the spot, again, today's Halloween. I know
I
typically.
didn't get dressed.
No, I know you didn't. Maybe I missed it. I haven't put it on my email. Typically, they do 59 minutes to get off of the garrison. Has that been put out by the commander? So,
Mike has 59 minutes.
Plus 4, plus 4.
118, right?
Thank you all for all this, of course, but thank you for the pleasure of working with each and every one of you. Now, like they have said, may not be the most earnest person to talk to. But Kim's right. Once you get my number, you got me figured out. And you know that sternness is about just do it right the first time. I don't want to do it a second time. I don't want to do it a third or fourth time. I want to do it right the first time and get done and over with. So it's been fun, but I ain't gonna say it's been real fun. Thank you very much.